I feel like so many people make themselves miserable because they spend way too much time thinking about the result. They think about the money before they have earned it. They think about the weight they want to lose before they even have started exercising. They think about the success they want to have before they have even done any of the work. They think about the finish line while standing at the starting line. Now that sounds normal. Goals are important. Results do matter, of course. If they didn't matter, nobody would chase them. The problem is when the result becomes the only thing you think about. Because the results are usually far away. The work is happening today, but the results might be months, maybe years away, sometimes even longer. And if your happiness depends entirely on reaching the result, you're going to spend a lot of time very frustrated. Think about somebody trying to lose weight. If they step on the scale every day expecting huge changes, they're probably going to be disappointed. Most days the number barely moves. Sometimes it doesn't move at all. Sometimes it goes the wrong direction. If that person is obsessed with the result, every small setback feels massive. Every slow week feels like a failure. Every delay feels like proof that it's just not working. Now think about somebody focused on the process. Their goal is still to lose weight. That hasn't changed, but their attention is on the daily actions, the workout, the food choices, the consistency, the habits. Instead of asking, have I reached the goal yet? Every day they're asking, did I do what I was supposed to do today? That difference matters more than people realize, a lot more. Because you have so much more control over the process than the result. You can control whether you train today. You can control whether you study today. You can control whether you eat right today. You can control whether you work on your goal today. You cannot always control how quickly the result arrives. A lot of frustration comes from trying to control things that take time. People plant a seed and then spend every day digging it up to see if it's growing. Then they wonder why they're so stressed. Growth is slow, improvement is slow. The early stages of almost anything are slower than people expect. That is why focusing on the result can become very dangerous. You start measuring success way too early. You start judging progress before enough time has passed. You start convincing yourself that nothing is happening. Meanwhile, the process is working exactly as it should. The, the gym is a great example. Nobody becomes strong after one workout. Nobody becomes skilled after one practice session. Nobody becomes successful after one day of effort. The individual days rarely look impressive. One workout doesn't change your life. One page read doesn't change your life. One day of saving money doesn't change your life. But hundreds of those days put together absolutely do. The problem is that people underestimate the power of repetition. They want dramatic progress. Life usually gives gradual progress. And that gap makes you impatient. And impatience destroys a lot of goals. People quit because they don't see results quickly enough. They stop because they expected more. They leave because the process feels small compared to the goal. The funny thing is that almost every big result is built from small actions repeated over and over. There usually isn't a magical moment. There usually isn't a secret shortcut. There is just a lot of ordinary, repetitive work done consistently. That's another reason to focus on the process. The process is just where success actually happens. The result is simply the scoreboard. Think about sports. Fans remember the championship. They remember the trophy. They remember the celebration. What they don't see is the thousands of hours that came before it. The training, the practice, preparation, mistakes, the boring days, the process created the result. The trophy never created the result. The trophy is just the trophy. The process, however, That's what makes everything. The same thing applies to almost every area of life. People see the finished product, they rarely see the years behind it, the business that succeeded, the skill that was mastered, the money that was earned, the confidence that was built. A lot of it came from process, a lot of it came from repeated actions. There's also something else people forget. Results are often temporary. The process is what stays with you. Let's say somebody becomes wealthy. That's a result. But what keeps them successful afterward? The habits, the skills, the discipline, the process. Or imagine somebody gets into great shape. The number on the scale, the image in the mirror is a result. The habits that got them there are what actually matter. Without those habits, the result eventually disappears. This is why focusing only on the results can create strange problems. Some people reach a goal and still feel empty. They spend years chasing something, then they finally get it. And after the excitement wears off, they don't know what to do next. They were so focused on a destination that they never learned to enjoy the journey. The process matters because most of your life is spent inside it. Very little of life is spent at the finish line. Think about it. A goal might take years to reach. The celebration lasts a day, maybe a week. Then life continues. You go back to living, working. You go back to pursuing something else. The process was the real experience all along. That's where most of your time went. That's where most of your growth happened. That's where most of your life was lived. People often imagine success as a single moment, a promotion, a championship, a business taking off, a dream finally becoming reality. Those moments are great, but they are short. The process is where everything actually happens. It's where character is built, it's where skills are developed, it's where confidence grows, it's where people become capable. And the people who last the longest, pause, are usually the people who learn to appreciate that. They still care about the goals, they still want results, they still have the ambition, but they stop making the result responsible for all their happiness. Instead, they learn to take satisfaction from doing the work, from showing up, from improving, from becoming a little better than they were yesterday. That mindset makes difficult goals much easier to pursue because every day becomes a chance to succeed, not by reaching the finish line, by completing the process. At the end of the day, results matter. There's nothing wrong with wanting them. The mistake is making them the only thing that matters. The result is a destination, the process is the road that gets you there. And since most of your life will be spent on the road, it makes sense to pay attention to it. Because if you learn to focus on the process, you'll usually get the result eventually. And even if the result takes longer than expected, you'll still be moving forward every single day.